Good morning, everyone. My name is Tripti Bala. The topic of my presentation is National Policy on Education 1968. Here's some brief introduction about National Policy on Education 1968. The Government of India has formulated the National Policy on Education to promote education amongst Indian people. The policy covers basic education to college in both rural and urban India. In this regard, the first national policy of education was broadcast in 1968 by the government of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, which was recognized as radical reconstruction. This policy was particularly based on recommendation of Kothari Commission. Now some goals of NEP 1968. First, a radical reconstructing. It means that the old pattern of education is changed into new pattern. Second is equalization educational opportunity in order to achieve national integration. Third is greater cultural and economic development. Now some main features of NEP 1968. First is free and compulsory education. Free and compulsory education to all children up to the age of 14 years. It is in the article of 45. It mentioned that free and compulsory education. Complete the prescribed course by the children. Reduction, wastage and stagnation program. Second feature is status, involvements and education of teacher. In status, there are factors like character, qualities, qualification, honor placed in society. These factors are included in the teacher. Then enrollments of the teacher are adequate satisfactory salaries of a teacher. Education of teacher having independent study and research. All these factors can improve education qualities. The third feature is development of language. Use of regional language. 3 language formula. Use of Hindi, English and 1 regional language. Development of Hindi and Sanskrit language and international language to interact globally. Fourth feature is equalization of educational opportunity. Developed educational facility for backward and tribal people. Emphasis on the education of girls. Educational facility for the mentally and physically handicapped children. Education should expand, develop, integrate program. Minorities efforts to protect their rights and promote their educational interest. Fifth is school curriculum, science education and research. It is for national, economic, internal part and general education development. Educational for agriculture and industries. Agriculture university in every state. Training programs, continuous review. Games and sports for physical fitness, and there may be many programs to promote the games and sports field. Examination should be reformed, reliability, validity, evolution and in a continuous process. Education at different stages. First is secondary education. To increase the vocational education, large number of field courses. Second is university education, establishing new university, improvement in research level, part-time education and correspondence courses, same status as full-time education. It should be developed in large scale. Correspondence courses should be given the same status as full-time education. It will provide opportunity to large number of people who have the desire to educate themselves. Seventh feature is the educational structure. The educational structure have uniform in all parts of the country, and the 10 plus 2 plus 3 pattern should be adopted. Increase the investment in education. The 6% of national income should be invest in education field. Eighth feature is work experience and national services. Work experience and national services, including participation in meaningful and challenging programs of community service and national reconstruction. Ninth feature is identification of talent. For the cultivation of excellence, it is necessary that the talent in diverse fields should be identified at early age as possible and opportunity given for its full development. 10th feature is production of books. The quality of books should be improved, frequent changes should be avoided, and their prices should be low enough. Basic textbooks should common, special attention on regional language books. Here are some outcomes of NEP 1968. The 1968 policy or NEP 1 was not very much successful. There were several reasons for this. First, at that time, a proper program of action was not brought out. Second, there was a shortage of funds. Indian economic was started. Thirdly, at that time, education was in state list, so role center was little on how the state would implement this scheme. Despite this, the key legacy of this policy include our current 10 plus 2 plus 3 system of education and 3 language formula, which is followed by most schools. So at last, their conclusion. The first ever education policy in India was National Policy of Education, formulated in the year 1968. It was promulgated by the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and was based mainly on the recommendation of Kothari Commission. NEP 1968 gave a new direction to standardize education within the country. It aimed to promote national progress, a sense of common citizenship and culture, and to strengthen national integration. It laid stress on the need for a radical reconstruction of the education system. To improve its quality at large scale, it gave much greater attention to science and technology, the cultivation of moral values, and a closer relation between education and life of the people. Since the adoption of the 1968 policy, there has been a considerable expansion in education facility all over the country at all. Here are some references and useful websites. Thank you.